And we back with this dickhead. Where we at, man? We at the junkyard, Fairfield, California. You're alright. This is the power steering line I needed. It almost said tube. Hopefully it's not gonna be too hard to get. I was trying to get this alternator bolt off, and I was using this for some leverage on my ratchet, and I jumped on it, and that shit disappeared. Like, it's not under the car, it's not anywhere. Like, I heard something drop hella far away. Like, it must have yeeted that shit like straight up into the fucking stratosphere. I can't find that shit nowhere. Sick. Alright, super clutch. Last minute find it is 6 o'clock. They're coming for your boy to get up out of here. Hopefully this fits on the B20. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna have to come back here tomorrow. I've already kind of gotten started on this project. What I'm doing here is I'm removing the OEM power steering setup, and that involves disconnecting this clip down here. If I can see it, see down there. You just gotta lift that up, remove the 10 right there for your reservoir, a 10 right here for your line, 10 right there for your line. And so I don't even know if this is gonna work yet, but from what I understand is I can get a DA pressure line from a 1990 or 91, I guess that's specific, and that line will bolt straight into my power steering rack, the Civic power steering rack, and that will allow me to run a DA power steering pump. And so I'm removing the pressure line right now, and I just got done draining out all the power steering fluid I could get out. So yeah, that bolt is already taken off the power steering rack, so I just need to take the 210s off the power steering pump right here and disconnect this here return, and then I'll show you what I'm doing after that. Alright, so I got the pulley off, or the pump off. Now I'm going to be taking this pressure line, and you're just going to kind of wiggle it around until you start to feel it come loose. That was pretty easy, actually. Alright, so I think I'm going to actually just connect this tube to the reservoir right here, and then leave these ones alone and see how that works out. So I'm going to leave all the tubes connected to the reservoir except for this middle one. The middle one I'm disconnecting right here at the base of the reservoir, and I'm reconnecting it with this clamp right here, if there's enough slack in the line to do that. And then I was able to stretch that line all the way up to here, get it over the barb. So I got the power steering radiator completely removed, and I was able to move these lines around just enough to make this fit over the barb here. So I haven't modified anything here except for just removing the radiator. So this line goes back to the top of the power steering pump right there, and that should fit just fine. And then tomorrow when I go to pick and pull and get that pressure line, in theory, according to some guy on Honda Tech like 12 years ago, it'll reach over and I'll be able to attach it to the pump, and everything will be secure on the power steering side. And all I have to worry about after that is getting the proper bracket that supports the DA pump, which obviously the DA one would, but I'm going to see if I can get the B20 one, because this is a B20 block, and I don't know if the DA one will fit. But yeah, so that's going to do it for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and clamp this up a little bit better, and then maybe clean up these tubings, and that's it. Peace. Alright, so I was so excited when I got back from pick and pull. I didn't film me installing this at all, but as you can see here, I am running these are power steering brackets from a DA Integra. It was out of a 1991, I believe. So this brackets actually line up and mount perfectly fine on the B20. As you saw in the video earlier, I'm not sure if I actually recorded it, but the B20 bracket went down and only had 3 points, which would have been fine. But the way that the power steering pump was mounted on it, it would have had to been mounted from the other side, and this power steering pump mounts on the inside, whereas the B21 mounts on the outside. I'll try to put up a picture of that. So that fits. This line fits onto the DA pump. This bracket lines up just fine. I guess this is like a pressure regulator sensor or something, maybe an idle sensor. It doesn't throw any codes when it's not installed, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that off if I can. If not, I'll just cut the wires down. And this fitting here, it looks like it's about the same exact size as the fitting that I took off last night. The only thing is I might have to bend it a little bit, but as long as you're not crimping these lines, I think any adjustments that I'm going to have to make should be fine. I'm going to record that later tonight. For right now, I'm going to be just feeding this line back through like the OEM location for it. See if I can get it to snap in place over here after I get the fitting in, and let's see if we can get this set up to work. Alright, so I'm having some problems getting this to go down in there the way I need it to, and I think the best route is going to be just removing the front sway bar to do this real quick. And then once you get it hooked up to the power steering, once you get it hooked up to the power steering, you'll be able to bend the pipe a little better, and then you can put the sway bar on after that, and that will push it up against in this little pocket the same way that the OEM stuff goes. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Alright, so now I'm just gonna be working these lines over towards the side here. Try to get this right here pretty much in this general area. Alright, so after a little modifications, a little bending, everything is tucked up out the way. It is looking good. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting this sway bar back in. I might buy myself a new one, or maybe just see what it's like running it without it. Since most of the Civics I always drove never even had a front sway bar, and I have a huge rear sway bar, it would be interesting to see how that affects like the steering and whatnot. But I also need to get new end links for them anyways, and I might as well replace the bushings, so that's going to be off for a while. I'm hoping that I have enough clearance down here. This is kind of sus right here, but yeah, assuming that doesn't hit, I mean, even if it does, maybe I could bash it with a rubber mallet, get it out the way. I don't know, but that's going to do it for this video, folks. I'm going to clean up these brackets and the pulley here, and then hopefully start to put this thing back together. So that's it. Peace out. Alright, got the DA line hooked up to the Civic steering rack. I've bent this line enough times to make it pretty much sit exactly where the OEM one did. I'm using the OEM, I don't know what you call that, mounting bracket, I guess. I guess this doesn't really do anything, but I'm just leaving it on there because I figure if I took it off it would leak. So I'm just going to kind of leave that up in there. And I got the power steering pump cleaned up. This is a DA power steering pump, and DA power steering brackets on a B20. So everything is fine, and in theory, I should have power steering. That's it. That is what I think this is how you would do it. So that's going to do it for this video, you guys. Stay tuned for the actual swap. Peace out.